Let us pass on to the next point, and that is colligative properties. Colligative, colligative properties. Colligative properties of solutions. There are certain properties of the solutions which depend only on the number of solute particles. The properties of the solutions which depend only on the number of solute particles. Number of solute particles. I repeat, the number of solute particles in solution. Solute particles, that is called a colligative property. So, colligative properties are the properties which depend only on the number of solute particles in solution. So we can write the definition like this for colligative properties. The properties, the properties which depend, the properties which depend only on the number of solute particles, number of solute particles in solution. Number of solute particles in solution. Number of solute particles. These are called colligative properties. So, colligative properties depend only on the number of solute particles in solution, not on any other properties, any other features. The properties will not depend on any other features of the solvent or solution, but these properties will depend only on the number of solute particles in solution. Number of solute particles. Number of solute particles. That is important. Number of solute particles in solution. Such properties are called colligative properties. Colligative properties are also known as democratic properties. Another name given. They are also known as democratic properties. Democratic, democratic, democratic properties. Democracy depends on the number of the people who are voting. See, number of people who are voting, that is democracy. Not on the majority. Nobody is bothered about the majority. Not majority. The candidate, sorry, Mr. Sunil is here in the school. The candidate for Kodungalur. Okay, say the one who wins the game, that is the person who gets the highest number of votes. That's all. There need not be a majority, the number. So here also these properties depend on the number. See here the number of solute particles. And so these are called democratic properties. That is a very old name given for colligative properties. If you search the modern books, you cannot see this term democratic. In all the books, we can see this term democratic properties. These are also called osmotic properties. Osmotic properties. Say colligative properties, or democratic properties. This term is not there in your book. It may be asked for the entrance examination. So, colligative properties or democratic properties or osmotic properties. These are the properties which depend only on the number of solute particles. It's a very important usage. Number of, number of, number of solute particles, solute particles, solute particles. Not the total number of solute and solvent particles. No, not that. Number of solute particles in solution. That's called a colligative property. Let us see some examples for this. You have to see 4 examples for colligative properties. And by that, the chapter will be finished. Say examples. Examples are, one is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. Examples. Relative lowering. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. VP, vapor pressure. VP, that's not our school vice principal. Don't be confused with that. Okay, that is a vapor pressure, not our vice principal. Vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. Second is the elevation of a boiling point. Elevation of boiling point. BP, not our blood pressure. It is a boiling point. Elevation of a boiling point. Then depression of a freezing point. Depression of freezing point. Depression of a freezing point. And finally, osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure. So these are the 4 colligative properties we have to see. So I repeat, what are colligative properties? Or what are democratic properties? What are osmotic properties? Vidur, now you say, what are colligative properties? Vidur, come on, man.
Properties which depend on the number of solute particles.
A bit louder, a bit louder.
That the properties which depend on the number of solute particles.
Number of, yeah, that is what I need. That is what I need. Number of solute particles. Number of solute particles in solution. Examples, relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation of a boiling point, depression of a freezing point, and osmotic pressure. So these are the 4 properties we have to see. And by this, the chapter will be finished. Let us note this. I'm going to explain this. So let us say what is relative lowering of a vapor pressure? What is meant by relative lowering of a vapor pressure? Let us take one by one. The relative lowering. Say number 1. Relative lowering of a vapor pressure. What is meant by relative lowering of vapor pressure? To explain relative lowering of vapor pressure, we have to recollect what's meant by vapor pressure, what is lowering of vapor pressure, and thirdly, we can say relative lowering of vapor pressure. So first we have to start from vapor pressure of a liquid. What is vapor pressure of a liquid at a given temperature? Sania, what is the vapor pressure of a liquid? What is vapor pressure? What's meant by vapor pressure? Don't remember. Vidur, you can help. Vidur, what is vapor pressure? Vapor pressure. Vidur, come on. Hiding away. Achu, you say, what is vapor pressure? What's meant by vapor pressure? Vapor pressure. Come on. You have to turn the pages now. It is not now to turn the pages. You have to do this at your home before you come to the class. Yes, come on. What is vapor pressure of a liquid? What's meant by vapor pressure of a liquid? Who can say?
Pressure
Sania. Yeah, Sania. Yes, Sania is coming. Come
pressure
on.
of the vapor above the surface of the liquid.
The vapor. It's vapor above the surface of the liquid. The pressure exerted by, the pressure produced by the vapor above the surface of a liquid. Above the surface of a liquid, there will be its own vapor, and the vapor will be producing a pressure. The vapor will be exerting a pressure, and the pressure due to the vapor, that's called the vapor pressure. Achu, pressure due to the vapor. Pressure due to the vapor. Vidur, pressure due to the vapor. That's called vapor pressure. Okay. Vapor pressure depends on the various factors. One is temperature. Second, nature of the liquid. Surface area. Surface area. That is also an important factor. Say temperature. When temperature increases, what happens? More and more vapor will be. You think of the vaporization of water. You think of the vaporization of water, formation of moisture or steam. Say, when temperature increases, the amount of moisture will be increased. No, am I right? So, vapor pressure depends on temperature, no doubt. When temperature increases, vapor pressure increases. Why? When temperature increases, vaporization increases. You think of water only. You think of water only. So when temperature increases, vaporization increases. Vapor will be increased. Amount of vapor will be increased. And vapor pressure will be increased by increase in pressure. Do you follow this? Do you get me? Anthony? Atul? You get this? So when temperature increases, yes, you complete. Temperature increases, Shania complete. Vapor pressure
Increases.
increases. Vapor pressure increases. That is because when temperature increases, vaporization increases. So it depends on temperature, no doubt. Now, it depends on the nature of the liquid. What is meant by that? There are certain liquids which can vaporize easily. But there are certain liquids which are not vaporized easily. Okay. You take the case of, say for example, you take petrol, use of petrol and kerosene or diesel. Okay, compare petrol and diesel. You know, petrol is easily vaporized, is it not? It is easily vaporized. So diesel, that is not that much easily vaporized, right? You use, say, alcohol, ethyl alcohol. Alcohol vaporizes easily. Or say either vaporizes very easily. So vapor pressure depends on nature of the liquid also. Easily volatile liquids are easily vaporized, and vapor pressure will be more for easily volatile liquids. Okay, which in turn depends on the boiling point. Then surface area, surface area, surface area. What is the relation? If there is more surface area for the liquid, there will be more vaporization and the vapor pressure will be increased. Okay, so vapor pressure depends on the surface area also. Also, you come to the last point. This one, this point, the third point, surface area. So more the surface area of the liquid, more will be the vapor pressure, higher will be the vapor pressure. That is the relation. More the surface area. See, more the surface area of the liquid. More the surface area of the liquid. More will be vaporization and the vapor pressure will be high. So higher the vapor pressure. Higher the vapor pressure. So vapor pressure is related to the surface area of the liquid. Follow this or not? Followed? Achu. More the surface area of the liquid, higher is the vapor pressure. Because the liquid is exposed more to the atmosphere if there is more surface area. And more molecules will be escaping from the surface of the liquid. So surface area is related to the vapor pressure, or vapor pressure is related to the surface area. Okay. Now, suppose a non-volatile solute dissolves in a solvent. A non-volatile solute dissolves in a solvent. Then what will happen to the surface area of the liquid? What will happen to the surface area of the liquid? Okay. When a non-volatile solute dissolves in a liquid, the surface area of the liquid will be decreased because a fraction of the surface area will be occupied by the solute particles when a non-volatile solute dissolves. So we can write this. You're right. When a non-volatile solute. What is the property of the solute? Non-volatile solute dissolves. Non-volatile solute dissolves in a liquid. Dissolves in a liquid. What happens? A fraction of the surface area will be occupied by the solute particles. A fraction, you can write, a fraction, a portion, a fraction of the surface area, a fraction of the surface area is occupied by solute particles. Solute particles. A fraction of the surface area is occupied by solute particles. And then what will happen to the surface area of the liquid? Will it be increased or decreased or remain the same? Vidur, what is your opinion? Vidur, what's your
Yes,
opinion?
sir.
Surface area will be increased or decreased?
Decreased.
Cannot say.
Decreased.
Okay, I shall illustrate that. I shall illustrate. Okay, so suppose this is the surface of the liquid. Suppose, and here there will be the molecules of the liquid surface. In the surface, there will be the molecules of the liquid. Can you see this? Surface of the liquid, the upper surface of the liquid. For example, you are taking liquid, for example, water in a beaker. Now you consider the surface of water, the liquid water. Say, we can show the surface area like this. There will be the molecules of the solvent, for example, water molecules. Now, a non-volatile solute is added into this. Non-volatile, What is non-volatile? Achu, what is non-volatile solute? Non-volatile. No answer. Sania. Sania.
A solute which does not vaporize.
It does not vaporize. It does not vaporize. Say, for example, glucose. Glucose, that's a solid. When it is put into water, water molecules will be vaporized, but the glucose will not be vaporized. The solute glucose is not converted into the vapor state. Glucose is non-volatile. Sugar, cane sugar, sucrose, if it is put into water, say water molecules can vaporize, but sugar molecules will not vaporize. Okay, friends, welcome back. Full time there is power interruption. So what to do? So let us continue with the vapor pressure again. So we have seen this, the surface area like this, the surface of the liquid, and the surface of the liquid will be occupied by the molecules of the liquid surface. For example, water. Water. On the surface of water, there will be water molecules arranged like this. Now, you add a non-volatile solute in this. For example, sugar is added, glucose is added, urea is added, or say sodium chloride is added. Then sum of the surface area, a fraction of the surface area will be occupied by the solute particles. See, like this. On the surface of the liquid, there will be the solute particles. Say like this. So, a fraction of the surface will be occupied by the solute particles. The solute particles are non-volatile. They are not converted into the vapor state. So the surface area, a fraction of the surface area, a portion of the surface area of the liquid is occupied by the non-volatile solute particles. Maybe molecules or ions, whatever it is. So what will happen to the surface area now? Sania, you say, what will happen to surface area?
It is reduced.
A bit louder.
Reduced.
Surface area, I cannot hear you. Surface area decreases. Surface area decreases. When a non-volatile solute dissolves, a non-volatile solute dissolves in a volatile liquid, a volatile solvent, a fraction of the surface area of the liquid is occupied by the non-volatile solute particles. So the surface area of the liquid will be decreased. If surface area is decreased, what will happen to the vapor pressure? Achu, what do you say? what will happen to the,
Increases.
say, vapor pressure will remain the same or vapor pressure will be increased or vapor pressure will be decreased? That is my question. You know, vapor pressure is directly proportional to the surface area of the liquid. Vapor pressure is directly proportional to the surface area of the liquid. When a non-volatile solute dissolves in a volatile solvent, what will happen to the vapor pressure? Will it be increased or decreased or will remain the same? Punya, what do you say? What will happen to the vapor pressure? Will it be increased or decreased or will it remain the same? You have no opinion. Can you hear me or not?
No.
Uh-uh. You cannot hear me. Can you hear me? Chania,
Yes,
Punya,
sir.
Gayatri,
Sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now my question is this. The vapor pressure is directly proportional to the surface area of the liquid. Clear? Now, a non-volatile solute is dissolved. Say a portion of Meenakshi, Vidur, Naurin, Steffi, a portion of the surface area is occupied by the solute particles. So the surface area will be decreased. If a surface area is decreased, what will happen to the vapor pressure? What will happen to the vapor pressure? Yeah. Vapor pressure will be decreased. Correct. Yeah. Punya did it. Say vapor pressure will be decreased. Vapor pressure will be lowered. Vapor pressure is lowered. Now you come to the generalization. Come to the generalization. The generalization is this. We are talking about the relative lowering of vapor pressure. Say, relative lowering of you have written this heading already. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. We are talking about this. Now we are coming to the definition of relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. First of all, vapor pressure is the pressure due to vapor seen above the surface of a liquid. Point number 2. When a non-volatile solute dissolves in a volatile solvent, a portion of the surface of the solvent is occupied by the non-volatile solute particles, and so the vapor pressure is lowered, vapor pressure is decreased. So pure solvent has higher vapor pressure compared to solution. Solution has lower vapor pressure. Do you follow what I say? Pure solvent has higher vapor pressure. Why? In a pure solvent, there is no solute. So the whole surface area is occupied by the solvent molecules. So solvent is having higher vapor pressure. The solution is having lower vapor pressure. Why? The fraction of the surface is occupied by the solute particles. Surface area is decreased and therefore the vapor pressure is lowered. Okay. Now you take the difference in the vapor pressures of pure solvent and solution. Pure solvent and solution. Okay, let me write it like this. The vapor pressure of a, say, pure solvent. Vapor pressure, you write? Vapor pressure of a pure solvent is equal to PA0. Let it be PA0. PA0. See, A is taken as the solvent, or 1 is taken as the solvent. That is our old concept. No, 1 for solvent, 2 for solute, or A for solvent, B for solute. Okay, you follow that pattern. So vapor pressure of a pure solvent is equal to PA0. Do you remember in the graph? PA0, PB0, vapor pressure due to pure A, vapor pressure due to pure B. All right. So here, vapor pressure of a so let us try to finish this soon. I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you write vapor pressure of pure solvent. Pure solvent is equal to PaO. PaO. Now you add the solute into that. You will get a solution. Solution. Now you measure the vapor pressure of the solution. So right, vapor pressure of solution is equal to C, that is equal to Pa. Vapor pressure of the solution is equal to Pa. Which vapor pressure is a higher value? Is it Pa0 or Pa? Pa0 or Pa? Which is a higher value? Is it a vapor pressure of the pure solvent? That is a Pa0. That is a higher value. Vapor pressure of the solution is a lower value. Now you take the difference in the vapor pressures of pure solvent and the solution. That difference is called lowering of vapor pressure. Therefore, lowering, you're right, lowering of vapor pressure is equal to Pa0, pure solvent, minus Pa, solution. And we can call it as delta P, change in vapor pressure delta P. Or you can write it as delta Pa also, delta Pa. It's all right. And this is called a lowering of a vapor pressure. So lowering of vapor pressure is equal to Pa0 minus Pa. That's equal to delta P. That's called a lowering of vapor pressure. Okay. Now you take the ratio between lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of a pure solvent. The ratio between vapor pressure, lowering of vapor pressure and the vapor pressure of a pure solvent. That ratio is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. So we can write, therefore, relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to lowering of vapor pressure by vapor pressure of a pure solvent. That is Pa0 minus Pa divided by Pa0. Pa0. That is equal to delta P by Pa0. That is called the relative lowering of vapor pressure. So this is the point we have to see. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to Pa0 minus Pa by Pa0. That's equal to delta P by Pa0. In your book, it is given delta Pa. Delta Pa. So all right. You can write a delta P or a delta Pa. You have to mention what it is. You have mentioned delta P is the lowering of vapor pressure. So relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to Pa0 minus Pa by Pa0. That's equal to delta P by Pa0. And we know what are Pa and Pa0. Pa is vapor pressure of the solution and Pa0 is vapor pressure of a pure solvent. Okay, that is the equation for this. And this relative lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property. That is a colligative property. Now here we can write some definitions below this. Below this, we can write some definitions. Say the definitions are this. Say first one, you're right. When that you are written, I think, no? When a non-volatile solute dissolves in a volatile solvent, the vapor pressure is decreased.
Sir.
That you are written. Yes? Written? Yes or no? Written? Okay. If not written, you can write it here. You write it here. When a non-volatile solute dissolves in a volatile solvent. So the solute is a non-volatile. Solute is a non-volatile. Dissolves in a volatile solvent, comma, vapor pressure of the solvent is lowered. It is decreased. Vapor pressure of the solvent is lowered. The reason we know, a fraction of the surface will be occupied by solute particles, surface area will be decreased and all that. Oh no? Okay. Now you write another definition. That is for lowering of vapor pressure. We can write the definition for lowering of vapor pressure. You write the difference in the vapor pressures of pure solvent, vapor pressures of a pure solvent and solution is called lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of vapor pressure. The equation we have already written. PA0 minus PA. That's equal to delta P. So the difference in the vapor pressures of pure solvent and solution. Solvent is written first because solvent is having higher vapor pressure. So vapor pressure of solvent minus solution. PA0 minus PA. So the difference in the vapor pressures of pure solvent and solution is called lowering of vapor pressure. The equation is there just above it. Now you write the definition for relative lowering of vapor pressure. What is it? The ratio of the lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of pure solvent. That is called relative lowering. So you write the next definition. Next definition you write. Next one. Next point. Relative lowering. Relative lowering. It was the heading. Relative lowering of vapor pressure is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of vapor pressure. Ratio of the lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of pure solvent. That is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. So what's meant by relative lowering of vapor pressure? It is the relative lowering is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure and vapor pressure of a pure solvent. That is the relative lowering. The equation is already given to us. What is the equation? PA0 minus PA by PA0 or delta P by PA0. Delta P by PA0. And that is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. So we have got the definitions and we have got the relevant equations also. More details we can see in the next class. Let me stop now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.